Hello everyone. So I thought to begin with a story today. So the story takes us back 25 years to November 1st, 1998. And this was a Sunday where a tournament to play the game Magic the Gathering was happening in New York, in Manhattan. And I was getting ready prior to that, the days prior to that, for this tournament. A friend of mine from Philadelphia came up, and during the Sabbath, we were practicing of what cards to use, what deck to play for this game, Magic the Gathering. I had been playing Magic the Gathering for some years prior. I first presented it to my brother, and then he reminded me of it sometime later, and we started playing, and that was something that we played often together. So this tournament on Sunday, I was also meeting up with my brother. So in addition to my friend, my brother was also coming down to play in this tournament together. So just prior to this tournament, a new group of cards had been released, and my friend said, "You know what? There's a combination of cards. It's a really good combination, and it can even win on the first turn, which is a big deal in this card game. If you, for those that are familiar or not familiar, it's a big deal." And so I was very excited. I wanted to play with these cards, with these new cards. The only problem is that I didn't have most of those cards. So, but I'm like, you know what? I'm going to play with these cards. I had in my mind that, this is the deck, the assortment of cards I'm going to play with. So comes the morning of the tournament. I get there nice and early, and there's a person there. And I'm looking around for someone to trade with, give them some of my cards, and I get the cards that I need to play in the tournament that day, because I didn't have most of the cards that I needed. So sure enough, there was a person there, and he had all the cards that I needed, because he also realized kind of like the abilities and the interest of these cards, and he was also considering playing a deck, but using these cards. But then he realized that these cards are most likely to be banned, or which means you can't play with them, or restricted, which means you can only have one of them instead of four of them to play in your deck at a time. And so he said, so he was thinking actually of trading me these cards. And another person there said, "Don't do it, because if I'm playing this assortment of cards, it's very likely that I'm going to win the tournament that day, because people already heard about this deck. They didn't know exactly maybe all the cards. There was the exact arrangement of cards, but people already heard about these cards in combination with one another." But before the tournament starts, he decides, you know what? I have cards that he was interested in, so we traded. And before the tournament started, I had every single card that I needed. So the tournament starts, and sure enough, for the first couple rounds, the deck does exactly what as intended, and I won, mostly on the first turn, sometimes on the second turn. And then it comes to the final. This is after hours of play, the whole day on Sunday, and it's already after probably 11 o'clock at night. And my friend came from Philadelphia to New York to practice beforehand over the Sabbath, which isn't the best thing to do on the Sabbath, but that's what we were doing. And then he came for the tournament. Well, the last train from New York back to Philadelphia was sometime after 12 o'clock a.m. And we're in Midtown Manhattan, so it's not far to the train station, but this is already like getting to be after 11 p.m. So we don't have much time. So it comes to the final round of the tournament, and I won the first game. But it's best of 3. So I have to win one more game. But at this point, I'm very nervous because I don't want to be late. My friend doesn't really know where to go. I wanted to walk with him or run with him to the train station. And I didn't want him to miss his train because he really wanted to get back. He didn't want to spend another day. I guess he had to go back for something. He didn't want to spend another night in New York. So I'm rushing and like kind of in the midst of all of this, I break a rule. For those that know the game, basically you have this 15 card sideboard, which are like alternate cards in between games. Remember, it's best of 3. So after the first game, you see what the other person is playing, and then you can change your cards. So you have like a 60 card deck, and you have 15 cards that are alternate cards, called a sideboard, and you can switch 1 for 1 in between the two. But I was like very nervous and thinking about my friend. So by accident, I kept 1 extra card in my deck. So I had 61 cards in my deck and 14 cards in my sideboard. And the other person, realizing that how am I going to come out of this? So he thought, you know what? Let me count his deck and see. He had this thought, maybe let me count his deck and see if it's 60 cards and see if his sideboard is 15. And if not, then I can get him disqualified, right? And sure enough, that's what happened. That's what happened. I made that mistake, and I got disqualified, and I finished second place. And then we ran to the train station. So this is a set of events that was very interesting, and I've thought about it for years, because afterwards, less than 2 weeks after, was the biggest tournament of that time. It's called a Pro Tour, professional tournament, where the best players of this game in the world come together. And this the coming tournament, less than 2 weeks after I played in New York, was in Rome. So this big tournament, hundreds of players of Magic the Gathering players from around the world were playing in this tournament in Rome. And one player in particular, so after my tournament, I wrote up about what happened. I wrote the cards that I used, and I posted it on this website called The Duelist. I thought it was an interesting thing. These are new cards. This is a deck that cards that people are talking about. So I thought to write it up. Well, this person, one of the players in this tournament in Rome, he saw my post, and he saw the cards that I used, and he saw the deck that I used, and he said, "Oh, this is a good idea." He wasn't sure of what to play in this Pro Tour, this professional tournament in Rome, but he said, "This is a good idea. Let me play with these cards." And he changed it around a little bit, and he played with basically very close to the same assortment of cards that I used after reading what I wrote from my experience. And sure enough, from these hundreds of players, he won the entire tournament, and the grand prize of $18,000. So, but the story doesn't stop there. In his write-up, he had a short write-up after the tournament, and he said, in the end, for props, basically thanks, to give thanks to people. In his props, he said, "I wanted to thank me." He wrote my name, because without him, I probably wouldn't have played this deck. But meaning what? Meaning that he saw my post, and then he saw my write-up of my experience on this website called The Duelist, and he said, "You know what? This is a good idea," and he changed some things. He changed some cards, and but he basically played the deck that I had played, and he won this tournament of $18,000. Which that was 1998. The tournament that I played in was November 1st of 1998, and he played in his tournament maybe around 2 weeks or less later. And so this was $18,000 in 1998. That's I'm not exactly sure how much that is now, but that was 25 years ago. So it was, it's pretty cool, right? And that he gave me things. But I started thinking, what was really the excitement, and what was really the great benefit from this experience, and what was God trying to tell me? Because first of all, most tournaments were on Saturday, and I couldn't play. It's not, you don't play in tournaments on Saturday. It's not a thing to do. So this was on Sunday. In addition to it being on Sunday, my friend happened to mention this deck that he had heard about. That the people were already starting to put together using these new cards, and people were already starting to see that people, you can win on the first turn, right? Like basically right away with using these new cards. And not only that, but someone was willing to trade with me all those new cards. And not only that, but I decided to post the tournament results. I decided to write it up, my experience. Not only that, but the Duelist website also wasn't updating for days after the post that I wrote. So the only post that was explaining the cards to use for this new assortment of cards was my write-up. The site wasn't being updated. There may have been other tournaments using these cards, but that was just, the site wasn't being updated. So I'm going to now. This is what's called the revealed dimension, right? These are our life experiences, and on the one hand, you could write them up and say, oh, these are coincidences. The list goes on. Afterwards, this person who won this tournament and gave me credit, which is very nice. I was in the same gaming area as him some weeks later, and his friends were joking about this, saying, because I was more of like a maybe a beginner player or something like that, and his friends were joking that he used a deck from a beginner player, but he said no, I'm very thankful to this person, and he even said that even the cards I changed, maybe it wasn't a good idea, but I was there listening. I was there. He didn't know it was me, but I was like there listening. So one thing after another, and so 25 years later, seeing this kind of like as something from my past. So what to do with that, right? So I was thinking, and I'll link to it afterwards, this beautiful video from Rabbi Ginsburg. That's my Rabbi Yitzchak Ginsburg. And he was talking, this was on the passing of the Rashbi, Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai. This was given on Lag BaOmer, which is a day of celebration, of joyous celebration. Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai was called the happy rabbi. Right? We're talking about playing games, right? So what is true happiness? Right? What brings true happiness? Because I always felt that the aspect of winning over an opponent was already like not so nice, right? Not so enjoyable, right? There's something beyond that, right? That I think we're all searching for when we play games, and when we are interested in life, when we try to we're competitive, right? We want to succeed, right? So what is it? What is this joy? What is true joy? So the first, and I'm going to go. You can watch the video. I wrote down some quotes from this video from Rabbi Ginsburg, and I'm just going to explain. This is the kind of the inner dimension, the behind the scenes of. We see the surface, right? We see the world around us, but there's inner workings to all of our experiences, and this is what's called divine providence, right? That nothing is by chance. Everything it seems like it's like a string of events. It seems completely random, and it's like it's fun, it's interesting, but then we don't do anything with it. And so for me, 25 years later, okay, so what is the message that God was trying to give me at that time? Okay, and this is one of the messages. Maybe this isn't the only message, but this is a message that something I could learn in terms of my own personal experience in life and growth, right? And hopefully this is something that you find to be helpful. So let me quote one thing. With happiness, and this is again from the video, I'm going to link to the video. With happiness, we go out of all the straits and limitations in our lives and achieve the complete and true redemption for the Jewish people and the whole world. So when they were first developing this game, and again, it came out in 1993, at first they started off with playtesters. And when they interviewed these playtesters, one quote really stands to me. Is like, he was saying that the possibilities were endless. When you're first starting out on a new initiative, the possibilities were endless. And the feedback was completely, just everyone wanted to figure things out. But now you have this game that has 25,000 cards later, and you think, oh, 25,000 cards, we're much better off. No. It's when you're first embarking on something, and you see like this expanse in front of you, right? Where you could go anywhere, you could do anything. Right? I gave a video a class recently called on the movie Everything Everywhere All at Once, right? And when you see that, I could be a martial artist, I could be an opera singer, I could be a celebrity, I could be anything, right? And when we're at that point in our lives of that rebirth, a renewal, where we don't feel beholden to our past, when we can press that reset button, and every moment God is recreating the universe, right? All of creation has that built into it, according to the Baal Shem Tov, the founder of the Hasidic movement, that we have this continual reset button, and if we really tap into that. So when Rabbi Ginsburg is saying to go out of our straits and limitations, so for me, in this metaphor that we're building, to me that's the some type of a play test. We're figuring things out in our lives, right? Before we decide that these are the cards, these are the cards that God dealt us, right? Or to use another metaphor of a spinning dreidel, this is where the dreidel lands, right? It's spinning and spinning and spinning, and this is where the dreidel lands. This is the letter that it landed on, or this is the place that it landed on. This is the profession that I chose in my life, right? This is the place that I'm living. So as we're spinning around, as children, we're like this, right? We have this experience of wonder, but we also are spinning around. We don't know how things are going to end up, right? So this is the first thing, is that the metaphor of a playtest being higher and even more fun and exciting than the game itself, than playing in the game itself, which is it's like precedes the game, and something that precedes is like coming from a higher place. And we're going to develop this further. So what's okay? So this is all was in the video is the talking about Lag BaOmer, the 33rd day of the counting of the Omer, which is the day of the passing of this of the author of Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai, the author of the Zohar, and it's also the day of the giving of the inner dimension of the Torah. So if we're going to expound upon that a little bit, but it's the seeing beyond the surface, right? All of this is, we go through our lives and we have these experiences, we have these stories, right? I have this story that, from 25 years ago, and what is the inner message, like behind the scenes? What's the inside story behind all of that? So speaking about Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai, when he wanted to draw down blessing from above, from God, for the Jewish people, for the world, he would open his mouth with profound, deep words of Torah. So other rabbis would pray, right? There's a drought, so you pray. You pray to God. But here he would say words of Torah, right? And what we're now going to explain is that we have a moment in our lives when we feel that maybe it's not raining, right? Maybe there's droughts, and God is sending us messages, signals. He's trying to help us along the way. So we have to really see beyond, to understand our experience. So when confronted with drought, right, there's a difficult situation. People need the water for the crops, and the Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai would teach Torah. Okay, what does that mean to teach Torah? So let me continue. Just by teaching the mysteries of the Torah, especially the blessing of rain, when there was this brought about, especially the blessing of rain when there was a drought. And he opened his mouth and taught Torah. Right? This is like the all-inclusive blessing is to give rain in your time, right? That there should be rain for the crops. We've all talked about success in this world. Geshem, rain, is also the same root as gashmius, which means physicality. So when we're talking about rain, we're talking about physical blessing. So what did he teach? What did Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai, the author of the Zohar, what did he teach that brought about rain? And this is where we're going to get back to playtesting and the game and people coming together and having fun together. What did he teach? So he taught this phrase from Psalm, the first verse of Psalms 133. Hine matov uma naim sheves achim gam yachad. And there's many songs around this. Behold, how goodly and how pleasant is the dwelling of brothers together. Right? When we talk about these original playtest groups, or my experience with my friends, is that we were coming together, right? We're dwelling together. We're coming together. Ultimately, yes, it should be for Torah, to learn, to see beyond the surface level of our experience. But the initial thing is that we're getting together, right? We're trying to do something together and have fun together. The vessel we have to try to perfect and create is the blessing for all the blessings is that we beseech God to shower upon us. All blessing is rain. We have to achieve unity, togetherness, oneness of all Israel, of all the world, working together to bring Mashiach, to bring the Redeemer, to bring about this universal togetherness. So what is, I title this, the magic of gathering? Right? Instead of the game is called Magic the Gathering, but it's the magic of gathering. It's the magic of gathering is that we're all getting together. We're coming together for a unified purpose. And ultimately we said that purpose is to study through our study of Torah, through coming together, through our study of Torah, it brings down a blessing to the world. Right? This assortment of cards that I played, the idea was to get more and more of drops it's called island, or the symbol for the island is a drop of water. Right? To get more and more drops. To reveal more and more blessing. But the cards aren't going to do that. They're just going to ultimately lead to more dissonance. Why? Because the cards are a poor replacement for reality. Even 25,000 cards later, it's a poor replacement for reality. I remember once, after taking some time from the game, going back to a nightly tournament and seeing a friend that I had met over the years playing this game, and he also took a break, and he also was coming back to play that night for the first time in a long time. And we shared this moment where we were more happy to see each other again than to be there playing. And at the time, I remember that we should be doing something else. There's something better that we could be doing. But then we went and started playing the game again, and it just it felt so empty, It just didn't fulfill that need of getting together and sharing something and having fun with something. And now we're saying that we have fun with Torah. We have fun with we should have fun with our learning. This is the blueprint of creation all around us. We're witnessing miracles. The Gal, talk about Lag BaOmer, the day of the passing of Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai, the author of the Zohar. So the two letters Lag, Lamed Gimel, is also Gal, Gimel Lamed, which is stands for the verse Gal Enai V'Abita Niflaos Mitorah Secha. This is the organization that Rabbi Ginsburg has. Open my eyes that I may see the wonders of your Torah. Is that we all want to see wonder in our lives, and where did God put the wonders is through the Torah. It's through the Torah, and again, it's through teaching the Torah that we're bringing about the blessings, actual blessings in the world. Actual blessings. No, we're not talking about spiritual heights, things that are disconnected. We're talking about the real world. So studying the Torah with deep devotion, then when we do that, then comes the blessing of rain. When we dwell together in brotherhood, we invite God to come dwell together with us in a revealed way. When we feel as brothers dwelling together. And this also alludes to certain brothers and a pact between brothers. Right? As I said, I was meeting my brother at this tournament November 1st, 1998. Well, Rabbi Ginsburg in his class, it talks about a special pact between two brothers in particular, Moses and Aaron. And my friend, his name is Aaron. So it's just an interesting thing for me that here I thought, for 25 years or for some time at least, that I was disappointed. Here I had this chance to win that tournament, to win some cards, right? To finish first. But what happened was I was thinking about my friend who had to catch a train. I didn't want him to miss the last train for the night from New York to Philadelphia. But really that was winning because that's the point, right? The point that also meeting that friend that I hadn't seen in a while, and we were both there, and we just decided, we were there to play the game, but it didn't feel right, but we were just happy to see each other again. That was the play, the game, and it's. I think for a time maybe at least I lost sight of that. Is that really what we need to search for is opportunities for togetherness and to have fun together, and ultimately that should be having fun, talking about fun, interesting things that in Torah, relating to finding our hobbies and interests in Torah, finding our place in Torah, finding those things that are enjoyable, no matter what our interest is. And to find our common togetherness, our common origin together. We are brothers born from the same womb. We have the same origin, right? We all come together originally from the soul of Adam. In Kabbalah, it's explained but we all have a shared origin story, ultimately. We have to rectify our feeling of brotherhood, and that is the foundation and the vessel for blessing, for all blessings to come down to the world, to bring down all blessings to the world. Mashiach, the Redeemer, if we merit, will come in a cloud. If he comes in a cloud, how does he manifest? He manifests as rain. He is the rain that rains from the cloud. Right? So I explained that this deck that I was playing, the idea was to get as fast as possible rain, water, droplets. And for a time I thought that this was such such an amazing thing that here this card assortment was used by a person who won $18,000. He won this professional tournament, but really the biggest benefit was all the people that wanted to help me, ultimately because this was helpful for my divine service. It may have took 25 years and I'm still figuring things out, right? But from my friend who gave me this idea to play these cards, and then I met up with my brother, from this person that traded with me with these cards, and ultimately to that player who had this thought to disqualify me from the tournament, right? All of this was in order to help me, right? So we sometimes we view others as we're competing against others, but there's lessons that are very helpful in terms of our divine service that we can learn if we're really listening. Like, I have to make the train. I don't want to make the train. I don't want to miss the train. We have to listen to the calls, the cries of our friends, and really hear what they're saying. Is it what's more important to you, winning a few cards or helping me? Right? Are we going to zoom and swerve past others in our lives, or are we going to put others first? Right? And we're going to have fun doing it. Also, it's good. We should play test. We should have fun doing it. So it's like, what was, personally speaking, so hearing this from Rabbi Ginsburg's video, what was I searching for? I was searching to connect with that Mashiach that comes from the cloud, that brings down blessing. How do you bring down blessing in this world? It's by how goodly is it for brothers and sisters to dwell together in unity, togetherness, true togetherness, and that's the magic of togetherness. It's not these cards. These cards, they detract, they take away. I mean, they don't do anything. They're just cardboard. Right? We have to focus on the true unity of all of creation, and this it's a poor placeholder in the meantime. But we something that Rabbi Ginsburg has been discussing for a few weeks now is a new initiative in teaching Torah, and that is according to this model called the Torah Academy that he's taught for well over 40 years. And there's a whole system of connecting Torah and the natural sciences, or Torah and really anything that we are interested in, whether it be arts, mathematics, science, communications, technology, anything. So I'm happy to play test with anyone and to figure out our strategy for our game together of how to bring down blessing into this world. So please reach out with your interests, and I'm happy to discuss the Torah behind your interests, and we could play test together and find the right endless, unlimited possibility through those efforts. Thank you.